instructional videos over textbook pages 105 and 106. Problem number 8, it says Lori bought sunglasses and flip-flops at a half-off sale. If she spent a total of $21 on the two items, what was the original price of the sunglasses? So we know that we are missing the price of the sunglasses, so that would be the letter X. You could even put a number 1X because she bought one pair of sunglasses. We start solving the equation by multiplying our parentheses. 1/2 times 1 gives us the 1/2 X. 1/2 times 24 gives us a value of 12. When it comes to solve the equation, we work it backwards. We do the opposite, so our plus 12 changes to a minus 12. And when you type it in on your calculator, 21 and negative 12 gives you a value of 9. Your final two answers are going to be divided. So the 9 divided by the 1/2 gives you a value of 18. The original price of the sunglasses was $18. Use the distributive property to solve the equation. So the 28 is going to stay out front as it is not part of the parentheses. We then distribute the -1 to both the 3x and the 4. So that would make a -3x and a -4. We distribute again on the other side. 2 and x make 2x. 2 times 6 makes 12. And the plus x stays at the back as it is not part of the parentheses, so it does not get multiplied. We can combine like terms. So we can combine the 28 and the -4 to make 24. And the 3x will stay the same as it was not part of the like terms. On the other side of the equal sign, we can combine the 2x and the 1x. 2 and 1 make 3. And then the plus 12 would also stay the same because it was not part of our like terms on the right-hand side. When we are combining our like terms again, our 24 would stay out front. We would combine the -3x with the positive 3x. We move the positive 3x becomes a -3x when we move it. So -3 and -3 would make -6x. And we still have our 12 on the other side. We still have our -6x, but we can combine the 12 and the 24. The opposite of 24 would be a -24. 12 and -24 make a -12. Our final step when we have only two numbers left is to divide. -12 divided by -6 gives you a +2 as your final answer. And use the distributive property to solve the equation. We start by distributing and multiplying 3 and x. 3 times 6 would give us 18, plus 6 equals 5x minus 6. Those last parts of the equation stay the same as they are not part of the parentheses. Our 3x stays the same, but we can combine the -18 and the +6, which make a value of -12. The 5x minus 6 also stays the same as there are no like terms there. We start combining our like terms by moving the 5x. So we would do the opposite. We would do a -5x. 3 and -5 make -2x. The -12 and the -6 are going to stay the same. Our next step is to combine the whole numbers. The -12 would turn into a +12. So we have our -2x, -6 and +12 make +6. And then our final step is to divide. 6 divided by the -2x makes -3. Number 11, we start by distributing and we multiply our parentheses. The -2.5 times the 4x would make -10x. -2.5 times -4 would make a +10, and then equals the -6. We want to combine the 10 and the negative 6. In order to move the 10, we do the opposite. We do a negative 10. Negative 6 and negative 10 make negative 16. And then our final step is to divide our values. We divide in order, the negative 16 divided by the negative 10, and we end up with a final answer of positive 1.6. For number 12, we start with our parentheses, meaning we multiply both parts of the parentheses by the number on the outside. 3x, and then 3 times 2 would give us 6. On the other side of the equal sign, we have the 2x, and 2 times 5 make 10. When we go to combine our like terms, we move the 2x, and so it would become a negative 2x. Positive 3 and negative 2 make 1. We can also combine the 6 and the 10. Positive 6 would change to negative 6. Positive 10 and negative 6 make 4. And then our final step is to divide the two answers. 4 divided by the 1x gives us a final answer of 4. For 13, we start by solving the equation. We multiply both pieces of the parentheses. 1/6 times x makes the fraction 1/6 x. 1/6 times the negative 5 is going to give us the fraction negative 5/6. Multiplying again, 1/2 times x gives us the fraction 1/2 x. 1/2 times 6 gives us the value of 3. When we are moving our pieces, we can move the 1/2 x. It would become a negative 1/2 x. On your calculator, you can solve the problem by doing 1/6 minus the 1/2, which gets you a value of negative 1/3. You would combine your whole numbers the opposite direction, meaning 5/6 would turn positive. Your 3 whole number with your positive 5/6 would give you a value of 3 and 5/6. And once you have your final two answers, you would divide. So we would divide the 3 and 5/6 by the negative 1/3. And we end up with negative 11 and 1/2. Or you could say negative 11.5. We start by solving the equation. We multiply both pieces of the parentheses. 0.6 times x makes 0.6x. We multiply the 0.6 times the 2 to get a value of 1.2. Multiplying the other side of the problem, 0.55 times 2 gives you a value of 1.1. 0.55 times the value 3 gets you an answer of 1.65. Combining our like terms, the 1.1 would turn into a negative 1.1. So on your calculator, you would do a 0.6 plus the negative 1.1, which is negative 0.5. You could also move the positive 1.2 to make it a negative 1.2. Again, use your calculator to help you with your positives and negatives. 1.65 and negative 1.2 gives you a value of 0.45. And your final step is to divide your two answers. So 0.45 divided by the negative 0.5 gives you a final answer of negative 0.9. Number 15, we start by multiplying both parts of our parentheses. The 4x is going to stay the same out front as it is not part of the parentheses. Negative 2 and x make negative 2x. Negative 2 and negative 2 make a positive 4. Equals the negative 9 plus 5x minus 8. We go ahead and combine our like terms. 4x and negative 2x make 2x. On the other side, we can combine the negative 9 and the negative 8. which would give us a value of negative 17. We move our 5x, we do the opposite, we would make it a negative 5x. 2x and negative 5 make an answer of negative 3. Doing the opposite of 4, we would do a negative 4. Negative 17 and negative 4 make a value of negative 21. And your final step is to divide. The negative 21 divided by the negative 3x gives us a final answer of positive 7. For number 16, we're going to use the distributive property to solve with the equation equals. Describe what it means to distribute the 2 to each term inside the parentheses. So to distribute means to multiply. So when we multiply our parentheses, we end up with 2m, and then 2 times 2 would give us a value of 4. When it goes to solving the equation, we work it backwards and do the opposite. Our plus 4 changes to a negative 4. And we get a value of 18. And your final step is to divide your two answers. 18 divided by the 2m gives us a final answer of 9.